People in Brookside City still whisper about the day billionaire Lucas Hale walked into a tiny roadside diner and saw a young waitress gently feeding an old disabled man like he was her own father. What he did next shocked everyone, including the waitress herself. No one knew that a single act of kindness would rewrite 2 lives forever. The Blue Sparrow Diner stood quietly at the edge of Brookside, a place where travelers stopped only if they were too tired to drive farther. Inside, Emily Carter, a 23-year-old waitress with tired eyes and a warm smile, moved from table to table with practiced grace. She wasn't just working for tips, she was surviving. Between her college loans and caring for her elderly father, life felt like a tightrope she walked every day. Her father, Howard Carter, once a factory supervisor loved by everyone, had suffered a severe stroke 2 years ago. It left him unable to speak clearly and unable to use his right side. The world he once carried on his shoulders now had to be carried by Emily, and she did it, without complaint, without rest, without expecting anything from anyone. That morning, she brought her father to the diner, because she couldn't afford a caretaker for the day. She seated him at a corner booth with a blanket over his legs, talking to him softly between customers. Anyone who watched could see the tenderness in her eyes, but most people rushed by, too busy to notice. Everyone except one man. Lucas Hale, CEO of Hale Enterprises, a billionaire known for building an empire from scratch, didn't look like a billionaire that day. He wore simple jeans, a navy jacket, and a backpack slung over one shoulder. His private jet had been diverted due to a technical issue, and he ended up driving through Brookside, hungry and tired. The diner was the first place he saw. When he stepped inside, he noticed Emily immediately, not because of her beauty, but because of her gentleness. She leaned forward, spooning soup into her father's mouth patiently, wiping his chin without embarrassment or irritation. Her father's hand trembled as he reached for her, and she smiled as if caring for him was the greatest honor in her life. Lucas felt something inside him shift. He had spent years surrounded by polished boardrooms, rehearsed conversations, and people who treated him like a walking bank account. But this quiet human tenderness felt more powerful than anything money ever bought him. Emily didn't see him at first. She was trying to make her father drink water without choking. Lucas approached their table slowly. "Is he all right?" Lucas asked gently. She looked up, startled. "Oh yes, Hez fine. Sorry, he'll be with you in a minute. No rush." "Take your time," Lucas said warmly. When Howard struggled to swallow again, Lucas felt a familiar ache. His own father, Richard Hale, had died alone in a private hospital years ago. While Lucas negotiated a billion-dollar deal, he had missed the last moment. Seeing Emily care for her father with such devotion felt like a quiet punch to his heart. When Emily finished helping her father, she hurried to Lucas' table. "Sorry about that, sir. What can I get for you?" "Just coffee," he said. "And is your father okay? You're doing an incredible job taking care of him." Emily forced a small smile. "I'm trying. It's been difficult, but has all I have." There was no self-pity in her voice, just love. Lucas watched her work, moving between tables while keeping an eye on her father. She made mistakes, dropped a spoon, forgot to refill a cup. But every time she looked back at Howard, her entire face softened again. And then it happened. Howard tried to shift in his seat, and his plate slid off the table, crashing to the floor. He flinched, embarrassed, struggling to apologize through broken words. Emily rushed to him, kneeling on the ground, holding his trembling hands. "It's okay, Dad. Don't worry. I've got you," she whispered. The entire diner fell silent. But Lucas couldn't stay silent. He stood, walked over, and knelt beside them. "Let me help." Emily blinked in surprise as Lucas picked up the broken pieces of the plate. "You don't have to?" "I want to," he said softly. Howard looked at Lucas, confused, until Lucas placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "You raised a good daughter." Howard's eyes filled with tears. Emily felt her throat tighten. No stranger had spoken to them this kindly in years. When her shift ended, Emily tried to lift her father into their old wheelchair, but he slipped. Before she could panic, Lucas grabbed Howard's other arm and helped settle him carefully. "You're strong," Lucas said, "but you shouldn't have to do this alone." Emily didn't know who he was, but something in his voice made her chest ache. "Life doesn't always give us options." Lucas hesitated, then asked, "Do you have a caregiver? Anyone who helps you?" She shook her head. "I can't afford one right now." Lucas nodded slowly, his jaw tightening, not in anger at her, but at a world that forced someone as kind as her to struggle alone. "Emily," he said gently, "I want to help." She stiffened. "I don't take charity." He smiled. "Good, because this isn't charity." Before she could respond, a sleek black car pulled up outside the diner. Lucas' driver stepped out, shocked to see the billionaire kneeling beside a stranger's wheelchair. The diner owner whispered loudly, "Oh my God, that's Lucas Hale." Emily froze. You're Lucas Hale?" He nodded, but his eyes never left hers. "I'm just a man who saw real kindness today." She didn't move, didn't speak. She simply stared at him, unable to process how the most powerful man she had ever seen was offering her help. Lucas continued, "Let me provide a full-time caretaker for your father. No conditions, no repayment. I just want you both to have the life you deserve." Emily's voice trembled. "Why? Why would you do that for us?" Lucas' voice dropped to a whisper. "Because I couldn't save my father, but maybe I can help yours." Tears streamed down Emily's face. Howard reached for her hand, squeezing her fingers weakly, urging her to accept. And for the first time in years, Emily said yes. 2 weeks later, Howard had a professional caregiver, medication, therapy, and equipment Emily could never have dreamed of affording. His improvement was slow but steady. Emily finally had time to rest, study again, and even dream a little. One evening, as Lucas visited their new apartment to check on Howard's progress, Emily walked outside with him. "I don't know how to thank you," she said. "You already did," he replied. "That day in the diner, your kindness woke something in me I thought I lost forever." Emily looked up at him, her eyes full of gratitude. "You saved us." Lucas shook his head with a soft smile. "No, you saved me first." And as they stood there, 2 lives changed by one moment of compassion, they understood something. Kindness doesn't need riches, but sometimes it inspires miracles. And that was the day a billionaire learned the priceless value of a waitress heart.